I should read my note.
T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're back. We're back. Brian's back.
I know.
Brian,
I know. It's good to be back.
About time. Just leaving me out on my own here for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. You deserved it though. So
yeah, I'm sure I did. But yeah, pretty good. You guys.
So we're here to talk about World Cup, right? So Brazil looked fantastic today. I think they're still the favorites. And it was really disappointing Japan went out today. I thought they looked like they could be a dark horse, but what you gonna do?
All right, goodbye, everybody. Couple of
That's it. Okay.
Yeah. Another rough week for us. We got smoked by the Bills, but I was expecting that. Denver.
Yeah, let's get on to the show. I don't need to talk about Denver every week. I think it's a miracle that Nathaniel Hackett still has a job.
They have to wait for the end of the year.
Do they?
I mean, I think that's what they are doing.
Yeah. Oh, I think he's the first coach fired on Red Monday. It's Red Monday, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Brutal. Anyways, yeah, to the show. So, as normal, right? A lot of stuff to talk about. We'll get through it quick. So to start off, James Cook. So he had the same number of snaps as Singletary, but he had 1 more rush, 3 more routes run, 4 more targets, and 6 more receptions. Cook had more carries when the game was close, so handling 8 rushes compared to Singletary's 5. So this was a very different role from what we've seen right in the past few weeks. Getting 67% of the rushes when the Bills were up by 7 points or less. Also in a random thing, per Dwayne McFarland, Nyheim Hines handled 31% of the snaps, including 51% of the 2-minute offense and 63% of the snaps inside the red zone, inside the 10. That was weird. But the whole thing was kind of a weird game for all of them. So for me, Nyheim Hines still is not someone I'd be starting at all. I wouldn't trust that. But then between Singletary and Cook, I personally think that's still kind of a toss-up. I'm not fully in on the Cook train, right? Could be that rookie takeover, but I'm not entirely sure yet. Where I think they both are like fine flex type plays, but not a lot of confidence in either one, especially coming up this week against the Jets. I don't know, Brian, if you feel any differently there.
I think it's interesting how differently Cook was used. Like I was looking this up a lot last week because he was one of my player picks, or Singletary is one of my player picks. And Singletary had just pretty much he had control of the rushing attempts when the game was close, but then they started splitting carries once the game started getting in the Bills' favor. And that completely just flipped this last week. So I think there might be something here with Cook. I don't know. I'm a little worried about Singletary's usage. This has not been a great backfield anyway. But I think it's something that it's promising, especially as someone who drafted a lot of James Cook in Dynasty. It's promising that it looks like they might be they're at least increasing his role. And Nyheim Hines is not like a lot of people said that was the death sentence for bringing him in was the death sentence for Cook. It looks like that's not the case.
Yeah, that's been a really weird one. So we'll see how that goes on. But versus the Jets next week, I'm not really loving any of the options, no matter what.
Yeah. So next, I have the good old 49ers losing another starting quarterback. So they had Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy actually looked decent. He threw the ball a lot. Devo got 10 targets. CMC had 9. Ayuk had 7. The loser of this definitely was George Kittle. let's just add another just elite tight end into this. Tight end is horrific right now.
It's
I
bad. It's so bad.
I have a fantastic dynasty team that is competing that has Ertz, Njoku, Higby. So I don't have a tight end. It's yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And so you can just add Kittle into that group of just I'm not sure that he's usable. Like there's like probably like 10 to 15 guys that yay if they get a touchdown, but yeah, I think Kittle you can I hate it. He's probably going to lose if Brock Purdy keeps on starting. But I'm not too worried about this offense going forward, even if it is Baker Mayfield, just because the 49ers have had to do this before.
Yeah.
They've made CJ Beathard and Nick Mullins both look like good startable quarterbacks. So I'm not too worried. If anyone is like panic selling Debo or Ayuk, I think this is a nice opportunity to maybe sneak in if you're a contender, getting one of those guys if you still are able to trade. But I'm not too worried. I'd still start those guys with not as much confidence as before, but still, I don't think it's worrisome. What about you? Are you worried?
I mean, if they go get Baker, I think it could be some fun there. I really want Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'll be honest. I
Yeah.
am a little worried. It could be a flash in the pan, like they weren't ready for Purdy, and now teams can start to prepare for him more. But if there's any system and scheme that can hide a quarterback, it's the 49ers.
Yeah.
So next up, Ravens. So talking about specifically Lamar Jackson. Earlier today, Adam Schefter said it was a week-to-week thing, and this upcoming week was very unlikely. And then Ian Rappaport said Harbaugh said that the hope is really it's a 1 week issue and he'll be back fine. So I don't really know. It feels kind of like a 2 week injury. It's kind of blending the two, predictions there from both the guys there and everything. I think the one weird wrinkle really could be like could it be a 1 if Lamar really pushed it? Could it be a 2 if Lamar really pushed it, but he doesn't want to push it because of a contract? I don't know. He seems like a gamer, right? He's like you see him go out there every Sunday and he like competes his balls off. So it's not as though he doesn't want to play. But I could see a money factor, maybe pushing it out a week later than it really needs to go. Because you don't want to risk future career earnings coming back too early and causing any more damage. But with that said, even if he's out for 1 or 2 weeks or 3, whatever it may be, Huntley's one of the better backups in the NFL. I don't really think it could be a lot worse, right? You could be going to Brock Purdy, maybe. Who knows? But I don't think you can just completely look at yesterday's yardage total. It's going up against Denver, right? Denver's the best defense in the league, but he was still able to lead a game-winning touchdown. And so, like when you go back to last year, right, you saw that when Lamar missed time, Mark Andrews absolutely skyrocketed. Actually, Mark Andrews' best production was with Huntley. And then Hollywood and Bateman were also involved. So I think to a lesser extent, DeMarcus Robinson his outlook doesn't change a lot. He was already very up and down anyways. I think that'll probably just continue. But for the baseline Ravens offense, I don't think obviously it's a downgrade, but I don't think it's a crazy downgrade for a 1 or 2 week period.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how the running game's going to look without the major threat that Lamar is. But yeah, they looked decent against a great Denver defense. So yeah, I don't know how the Broncos didn't beat the Ravens without Lamar.
3 field goals, right? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
How is their offense that bad, Brian?
It wasn't like Russell Wilson this week. The play call, there's been a lot of bad Russell Wilson plays. They were starting to compete to give Latavius Murray a rushing attempt a minute. He was 8 minutes into the game, he had 9 rush attempts.
Oh my Lord.
And I jokingly tweeted out, and I was like, I'm glad to see that the Broncos game plan this week was to protect our $250 million quarterback with a old Saints practice squad running back.
Yeah.
So it just, and then Sutton's injured. Judy is not 100%. And so Dulcich finally had a big game. But yeah, this offense, I have no confidence in it doing anything with Hackett. So
yeah, it's rough.
He was supposed to be an offensive coach, but Okay, next. Another team without their starting quarterback, the Rams.
Yeah.
So Stafford is just, I don't know if anyone knows when he's going to come back. Is there anything?
He's done for the year.
Okay.
I mean, by all accounts, he's done for the year.
I mean, they don't have their first.
Nope.
So I don't get, yeah. So this outlook isn't great, but somehow is still better than Broncos receivers. Van Jefferson and Ben Skoranek, I hope I'm saying that name right. They both ran the most routes this week. So Van Jefferson has 36, and Ben, I think I called him Ben 10 because he had 10 letters in his last name. It's actually 9. So Ben 9
That's fine.
had 30, which is a significant amount considering Higbee was the third closest with 20. So I think Van Jefferson might be usable. Because he did have 10 targets for 5 receptions, 68 yards, and a touchdown.
Over the last 2 weeks.
Oh, was that the last 2 weeks?
Yeah.
You had that? Okay.
Yeah, those are their combined 2-week numbers.
Still, that's better than – see, I'm coming from a Broncos fan where that looks like a great month.
Yeah.
So the guys are not doing – like, they're not unusable. And I think of anyone, I think Van Jefferson is the one that if you need a last-minute flex – I know there still is another week of bye weeks.
Yeah.
So if you do need a flex, I think Van Jefferson is the guy to go with. Tutu Atwell and Brandon Powell are getting a weird amount of targets for how few routes they're running. I was really surprised when I saw their routes run this week. So this whole offense, I don't know who to trust. And if I was forced to trust someone, it would be Van Jefferson.
Yeah. And then Tyler Higbee got 5 targets this week, but nothing the week before. So
yeah,
who knows? It's gross. Yeah, I don't want to trust anyone, but if you do, I get fan. Yeah. Next up is Kenneth Walker. So Pete Carroll said he had a foot / ankle jam / sprain. I don't know. He said he jammed it up. So not exactly sure what that means. He called it an unusual injury. So he was unsure if he's going to play this week, but it's Monday, so far too early to tell for sure. Carroll is known for stuff like this. He's not exactly the most forthcoming and accurate on injury reports, so don't really take everything that he says with a grain of salt. But it could be a 1-week thing, but it does sound like a low ankle, top of the foot issue. So it doesn't really seem like it's a significant injury, which is a good thing because the rest of their running backs room is also dead. Travis Homer was out yesterday, but he also with sickness, but he's also dealing with a knee strain. DJ Dallas has a high ankle issue. He was able to finish the game, but that was only because Tony Jones. I was reading articles about it today. He got hit in the helmet and his contact fell out and he couldn't find it. So he just took the other one out, but he needs contacts in order to legally drive. So he's on the field. He's I couldn't see anything. So and then Rashad Penny might come back for week 17 of the playoffs if they make it. So their running back room is gone. So Kenneth Walker should be back. I wouldn't be panning adding anyone between two, DJ Dallas or Travis Homer. I just wait till the end of the week. They're not really current waiver additions. I don't think that's a major priority addition for that, but just something to keep an eye on because if 2 or 3 guys are out, the amount of work whoever is healthy is going to be a possible usable flex.
Yeah, I think it might be one of those situations where they just wait to see if they are in playoff position because currently they are.
Yeah.
So I think they might just either shut them down if they lose the next 2 or I don't know because they don't have any running backs. You're right.
It's bad.
Next, talking about DeAndre Swift. So congratulations if you survived and you're in the playoff picture for fantasy and you have DeAndre Swift on your roster because Yeah, you're in good shape. He outrushed Jamal Williams for the first time since week one, which is pretty much the last time he was fully healthy. He ran twice as many routes as Jamal Williams and finished with 6 targets and 4 receptions for 49 yards. So he not only was running a lot, he also was using the passing game a lot, which that was something that made Swift so valuable
Yeah.
was his usage in the passing game. And the apparently the Lions are allergic to running it in to the end zone and have to stop on the 1 or 2 yard line. So there were two running or rushes available at the 1 yard line for them to split up this week. So Jamal Williams got his one that he has to get every week, and Swift got the other one. So I think this is at least showing it. They're at least going to split goal line work.
Mm.
So which apparently the Lions offense is one of the most valuable offenses for goal line work.
It's
Who would have
insane.
thought? Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
So yeah, he has some good matchups coming up. Um, I wouldn't say there's any that are like, oh my God, like this is fantastic. Maybe outside of Carolina. Carolina is a very good matchup, but
Mhm.
you if you have him, you are starting him and feeling confident that you are feeling good with he's probably going to be a top 10 running back for the last 10 week or last 4 weeks.
Yeah, that would be like talk about fantasy playoff savior if he comes out.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy. All right, so on to our quick hits. Cam Akers, so 73% snap share, 71% of the running back share. Also ran more routes than all the wide receivers except Ben Skowronek and Van Jefferson. I don't know.
He's back.
Except last week it was the exact opposite and he did nothing. So again, I don't like anyone out of the Rams offense. Brian is a fan. You can see the bias.
He's back.
Gabe Davis, he had 7 targets and he caught a touchdown. That touchdown saved his day because he only went 2 for 15. He is a roller coaster play, but he's kind of a guy that you just have to leave in your flex and just set it, forget it.
Question.
Yeah.
Is Gabe Davis a bust?
I mean, I guess it depends on, for me, I was not super high on him. So he's kind of done what I expected, where he's had a couple of big games within a couple like complete duds.
I would say based on his expectations, Gabe Davis busted this season.
Well, from as the fantasy whole community, yeah, because people are drafting him as like a top 20 wide receiver, like dummies.
Yeah. I don't think anyone wants to admit that Gabe Davis is a massive bust.
Yeah. Well, because all of us that decided to say, hey, pump the brakes, were called haters. So,
Yeah.
you know, I was right, though. It's okay. But I think you just have to play him because his ceiling in that offense is crazy.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you're gonna get dud weeks, but you kind of have to live with it with someone that has that type of ceiling. I wouldn't panic about Miles Sanders. Sirianni game plans like crazy for the opponent defense and their strength and weakness. So they're going to go run heavy some weeks, pass heavy some other weeks, just kind of how it goes. So really, if you were a Miles Sanders person, just take a look at who are they playing. Are they a really good run defense? Probably not going to run a lot. If they're a really good pass defense, they're probably going to run some more, right? So that's something to keep in mind and to use going forward because we've seen that with Sirianni throughout this season, especially. Deontay Johnson. 11 targets, 71% of the team targets versus man coverage, and he still does nothing. It's just cool. I know. I think Brian wanted me to be more positive about that, but
hey, he's going to be a league winner
in points per target leagues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, you have to account that he's going to drop a third of all his targets. So, yeah, I think he is cannibalizing George Pickens though. So
yeah, Pickens, that was a rookie. That was a bad one. But hey, he's been good. So tough to say.
Yeah.
Is this week a Zay Jones week, Brian?
Yeah. Just like you said with they play Tennessee, right? I believe, yeah. And you don't run against Tennessee. The Eagles didn't run against Tennessee. You just throw the ball. And so although it isn't the best, like they are a high percent zone team, which has been a weakness of Trevor Lawrence, I still think it's Zay Jones week.
Yes, good. Well, my Scott Fishbowl team needs it, so I will take that. Elijah Moore had 6 targets, which is actually a nice bump up from the week before from Mike White, but only went 2 receptions for 7 yards. Not great. They have the Bills coming up. I have a feeling that Mike White mania may not do well in a week's time, but we'll see. For my own Patriots enjoyment, I think I'd want Mike White to win so that it just creates even more chaos, especially within the Jets organization. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm loving it. And the last
if you are betting and Mike White has any sort of pass attempts around like less than 40, you bet your child's like college savings on that over.
Yeah.
His line was started at 32.5 last week.
He had what,
What did he
57?
finish?
I think it was
The guy,
57.
yeah, the man just throws every down. They don't have healthy running backs. You think they're going to give it to Donovan Knight or
Zonovan.
whatever his name
Zonovan
is?
Knight.
No, the guy just, and last year he did it too, and he didn't even play complete games, and he still is averaging over 40.
That's
So
insane.
yeah, that's your betting tip of the week is bet your child's life saving on Mike White passing overs. Yeah, he had 57.
Yeah.
57 passing attempts.
It's insane. And the last one, I think I caught a little blowback from Brian on this note, but Cole Kmet, maybe one of the most rostered. This is maybe my hot take of the week here. He might become one of the most rostered tight ends on Fantasy Champions after Kelsey. And I'm saying that because there's literally no one else to throw to in Chicago.
Yep.
Kittle, we just saw Kittle. Hawkinson, yes, I do like Hawkinson, but he does have to compete with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook and whatever. There's no one.
Here's the
In
question.
Chicago.
You're a Patriots fan. So they play Arizona this week. Arizona is horrific against tight ends. The Patriots are horrific at figuring out how to use their 2 elite tight ends.
Matt Patricia.
Yeah. I still can't believe they stole both Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith away from us fantasy players.
Yeah.
That was that.
Oh, I know. I listen. I have to watch it every week. I know.
Yeah. So yeah, who's going to go off this week? If they're going against the Arizona defense, that doesn't know how to defend tight end.
They're not. Matt Patricia is not that smart. I'm telling you, just don't get your hopes up.
Okay.
I don't. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you, but just don't. But yeah. Oh, and the last one, for some reason, Darius Slayton, if he's still not rostered in your league, I don't know what the hell's going on. You certainly haven't been paying attention here because we've been telling you to do that for weeks now. But Darius Slayton must be rostered if you have the ability to do it.
Yep.
And that's the last of the quick hits. So with that said, our Robbie Anderson of the Week award. Kind of a rough week, but it's going to a guy that we both really like.
And we've talked about a lot.
Yeah, very positively too.
Yeah.
So there was no injury, no nothing, but Jeff Wilson had a sick 3.0 yards per carry, 1 rush for 3 yards.
Yep.
Woof.
Yeah. I know he was playing the 49ers defense, but like 1 rush, 1 attempt.
I don't even know if I can blame him, but that's rough.
Yeah. Yeah. That was especially like I don't know what their game plan there was. Their game plan was apparently to get Tua slaughtered.
Yeah.
But
both their tackles were out.
Yeah. Would you think you might take a little bit of heat off the quarterback by, I don't know, like running the ball a little bit? But
yeah.
They're trying to give Tua his like 5th concussion of the season.
Yeah. That was gross to watch, but
yep.
Crazy. All right, Brian, you know the deal. Animal fact.
Wombats have cube-shaped poop.
I knew that one.
Yep.
That's a fun
All about
one.
the digestive tract. So.
Just a big cube.
Yep.
I love that. All right. All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. We will see you next week. Peace.
Adios.